Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the post TLC discussion video here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel. I am being joined by the one and only crew, good old JM, Jeff Meacham, and David Payne. This pay-per-view, I had some mixed feelings on. I thought that overall it was a good show in terms of the performances. I felt the two biggest things that hurt this show. The first thing was the crowd. I felt the crowd was really weak overall. And the other thing is, I thought the announcing was bad. And let me clarify that by saying that I felt Mauro Ranallo did a very good job. But JBL and David Otunga brought this pay-per-view down in a big way, in my opinion. What did you think overall about the crowd and the commentary, David?
Yeah, actually, that's funny because on the onset of this, I was actually going to bring up the commentary. I mean, four commentators, really? And to me, I don't want to get too off topic, but it makes no sense. Like, are they trying to get Tom Phillips to either replace Morrow, or is he eventually going to be Michael Cole's replacement, right? Because to have four guys out there, basically two play-by-play guys and two color guys, it makes no sense. It's too many cooks in the kitchen. In fact, go back to, what was it, the Cruiserweight thing after SmackDown, where it had you had Morrow and then Corey Graves. To me, that works. Let's just have that be the universal announce team. The hell with JBL. What do you think, Jeff?
It's my understanding, I could be wrong because it does happen every once in a while, that Tom is the host of SmackDown Live, and he chimes in here and there. You notice you didn't hear a lot from him during the actual commentary portions of the match, just during the parts where there's well, coming up next. That's where you see Tom Phillips. So I don't think that he's necessarily a commentator. They just wanted him to be the host of SmackDown Live for some reason. They're trying to. I like what you're saying, that they may be training him to be a replacement for Michael Cole down the line.
Yeah, because Michael Cole's the worst, but this was SmackDown. We didn't have to hear Michael Cole, thank goodness. But, like I said, I like Corey Graves and I like Morrow. And if they could do both shows or somehow work it out where they can do the pay-per-views, I'd be happy with that. And I agree, the commentary was a little too much. JBL just seems like he's forcing, whatever out there, whatever's in his ear, and he's forcing it out. Otunga, no offense to him, but he adds nothing. They're just placating to him so they can keep Jennifer Hudson in their back pocket.
Yeah, pretty much. And he's referencing Justin Bieber. I mean, come on now.
Really bad.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and break down the matches here. We had the kickoff match, which was more or less what we had talked about during our predictions video. I even brought up during that video, maybe they'll just do like an 8-man tag match or something like that. And they ended up doing a 10-person match, adding Apollo Crews and Kurt Hawkins to the respective teams. So you had American Alpha, the Hype Brothers, and Apollo Crews against the Vaudevillains, the Ascension, and Kurt Hawkins. Now, this was just your pretty standard opening kickoff match, no build. Like I said in the predictions video, basically just a way for American Alpha to look impressive after losing on SmackDown. That's really all it was. So it was very predictable, and American Alpha, of course, got the win for their team. Anything you guys want to add, David?
Not really. I'm actually not qualified for this one because I was late to the party and I did not see the pre-show, so I cannot comment on this, but I can only imagine it was exactly what everybody thought it would be. We are who they thought we would be.
Yeah. Jeff, anything you want to add?
I think you're the only person in the entire IWC that calls them the Hype Brothers. You are killing me, Riff. Seriously, it's the Hype Bros.
Whatever. They're the Hype Brothers as far as I'm concerned.
Leave them alone. His urban vernacular is not exactly great. So what?
I think Aaron's mad because he's on the list of Meacham 3 times.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever, Jeff. All right, let's get to the main pay-per-view here. We kicked off the show with the tag team titles match, Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt versus Heath Slater and Rhino. Crowd pretty much did not care about Heath Slater and Rhino. So, I mean, as we talked about during the predictions video, the crowd is pretty much tired of Heath Slater and Rhino. That whole gimmick ran its course, and it was time for a title change. The crowd was behind Orton and Bray Wyatt. Luke Harper saved Randy Orton from a spear from Rhino, so Luke Harper taking the bullet. So I like the booking of this match, although it was a pretty short match. It was only about 5 minutes long. It was very short for a pay-per-view match. And then you had Randy Orton hitting the RKO, and after the match, Orton and Wyatt gave the tag team titles to Luke Harper, and the crowd was very happy about this. So time will tell. Are we going to have a breakup? Is Randy Orton going to turn on Bray leading up to WrestleMania? I mean, that seems to be the direction right now. What do you think, David?
Well, I say it again and again with Randy Orton. I don't think over the last 10 years, nobody has changed more from heel to face and back and forth than Randy Orton. But, now wait a second, but sometimes, sometimes it's utilized well. And in this case, I could see it being utilized well because think about it, this pay-per-view with the crowd really was strange because every heel just about got cheered, including this one. And again, I think this was, as you alluded to, a fact that we were just kind of sick of the nostalgia or whatever, that was Heath Slater and Rhino. And now that that's run its course, I anticipate this leading up to something that will implode between Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. But so far, I'm kind of liking it,
What about you, Jeff?
I absolutely agree with David. I like what they're doing with it. I like that they're making us think. It's not very often that you get, number one, it's not often you get Randy Orton and Heath Slater in the same title match, which is awesome. But it's not very often that they make us really wonder what's going to happen next to the storyline. They're really making us do that with this whole Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton thing.
Absolutely.
You almost know it's going to happen, but you don't know at what point Randy's just going to drop the bomb on him.
Yeah. So we'll see. It definitely looks like that's going to be the build-up for WrestleMania where Orton will turn on Bray and we'll have that final match between them. Because who else can Orton face at this point for WrestleMania? I mean, I think both guys, they really have nobody else for WrestleMania unless they stay a tag team at WrestleMania. But I think it would make more sense if Randy Orton was going undercover and eventually is going to reveal that he was working Bray Wyatt the entire time. I mean, that seems to be what makes sense to me. But anyways, that was this match. And next up we had the no DQ match, or should I say the kendo stick match between Nikki Bella and Carmella. There was a fire extinguisher involved, though. So they did add one other weapon in this match. Not much to it. The crowd was pretty dead. Like I said, they used the kendo sticks on each other. Nikki used the fire extinguisher and then one with the Rack Attack 2.0. After the match, Carmella got on the mic and said that it was Natalya that attacked Nikki at Survivor Series. So, what did you think of this match, David?
I was indifferent. Quite honestly, and maybe I'm singling her out, but she hasn't proved to me yet, Carmella. I'm not on the board with that yet, or on board with that. But decent enough match. She kind of oversold it a little bit when she got hit with the kendo stick in the back of the leg, and she's like, a little bit much. But all in all, it's, an average match, what you would expect for an undercard women's match on SmackDown.
Right. And JM?
I like Carmella in NXT. I've not been impressed with her on the main roster at all. She was
there you go.
She improved by leaps and bounds with Triple H's tutelage in NXT, but since she's been called up, it's been literally, what has it been, 2 or 3 months of just this nonstop thing with Nikki, and now all of a sudden Carmella's getting pushed to the side because they're going to have Natalya face Nikki. So for me, it just makes no sense unless they have Alexa face Nikki now that they both won their respective matches and they have Natalya feud with Bex. Either way, it looks like Carmella's going to be the odd man out here, and that's a shame because when she is on her game, she is the most improved women's wrestler that's come up in NXT. She's not getting a chance to show it because she has hokey matches like this.
And I think her promos are getting better. I mean, on SmackDown, she actually ad-libbed a little bit when the crowd started chanting, "How you doing?" She said, "I'll be doing better when I get out of this place." I thought that was a good line from her.
That was a phenomenal ad-lib. She pulled that off so well. She really rolled with the punches there. That was really good on her part.
Yeah. So
I shouldn't knock her. You're right. It is booking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, we had the ladder match for the IC title, the final chapter. You guys remember Friday the 13th, the final chapter?
Yeah, I actually asked you on Twitter. Does that mean they're both going to die and they're going to have new challengers on Tuesday?
Yeah, probably.
Vacant belt.
Maybe Vacant will be the champion.
Yeah, maybe they'll have an imposter Dolph Ziggler for the next match or something like that.
There you go.
He'll be Shawn Michaels.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
All right, so before the match, we had a backstage promo with Daniel Bryan saying he was hoping that Ziggler would win the match. He would be a better representative as IC champion. Miz confronted Bryan and said that he wished it was Bryan in the ladder match so Miz could shove Bryan off the ladder. So during this match, we had the usual Miz taunting, like Daniel Bryan doing that stuff, and I thought this was a good match, but I would say it was not exactly a classic ladder match. I felt they did botch some stuff, and it was a little sloppy at times, and I felt that the crowd just wasn't into it as much as perhaps they should have been. Definitely not like the No Mercy match. You did not have that crowd reaction, and like I said at the beginning of the video, I felt the commentary was really bad, in particular this match. I just felt like there was a general lack of enthusiasm from everybody with the exception of Ronaldo. I thought he was really trying to get this match over, but I just felt that Otunga and JBO really brought it down. So I'll start with you, David. What did you think of the match overall?
Yeah, I would agree. I'm actually surprised that you noticed that, because I thought it was just me being nitpicky about the commentary, but it was pretty bad. It didn't do either one of them justice. And I think out of the trio, or how many matches they've had over the last few months, this is definitely not the best of theirs, So, I picked Ziggler, and for some reason they're still going with Miz. This crowd was a little funny because you heard some spattering of "Let's go Miz" chants too, which I find funny because to me, he's like the only true heel on SmackDown. Everybody else, like AJ, gets cheered, So, I mean, he does a good job with that. And overall, the match was okay. It's like I said, not their best. But now, you said, Jeff, now, Miz gets to move on and get other contenders. So we'll see what happens going forward with the both of them, really.
Yeah, Dave and I were talking about during the match about, hopefully we get some fresh faces facing Miz in the championship, because it's been the Ziggler Miz show for before it was 3-4 months now. It's like, oh my God, I love both those guys. I'm a big fan of Dolph Ziggler, big fan of the Miz, but for me, it's like let's do something different now.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But I will say they did a good job, I thought, of elevating the title and making the title relevant again. And it hadn't been relevant since Daniel Bryan won it and then had to turn it over again. And then it was a joke for a while. So they've done a good job at making the belt at least important. So, I don't know who Miz's next opponent is, but, all in all, I wasn't unhappy with this rivalry. It was pretty decent.
Yeah. Well, when you go from the best technical wrestler on the planet the last 10, 15 years to Skippy Flyback as champion, it's going to be a huge downgrade, no question about that. So, it's...
Now, what did you guys think about the finish? I actually like the fact that Miz won clean. I was dreading this idea that Maurice would interfere yet again and we'd have that finish again. So I was pleasantly surprised that the Miz actually won clean to retain the title. I liked that a lot. I thought that was the best part of the match, actually, was Miz just...
If you can call getting kicked in the balls clean, but...
Well, I mean,
it was a no DQ. Right.
Yeah, anything goes in a ladder match, so,
Right.
It's clean for a ladder match. That's right. I personally think that we should send WWE NoDQ.com t-shirts for this pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is...
Because they said no disqualification about 200 times tonight.
Yeah, I know. After the match, we had Daniel Bryan being referenced again by The Miz. The Miz dedicated his win to Bryan for motivating Miz to go out there and steal the show or whatever. And then Miz said that Ziggler should get a participation award because that's what people in Dallas do. I thought that was a great line. I thought Miz did a tremendous job with this post-match promo. So yeah, I mean, I was happy with Miz, and I felt this was really good.
Hey, Miz, 10-1.
What's that a reference to?
Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, okay.
10-1.
All right. So next up we had
Romo.
Yeah. All right. Next up we had the chairs match, which I actually was pleasantly surprised with. I thought this was a pretty good match, and I guess my expectations for chairs matches are so low. I actually thought they did a really good job here. Kalisto versus Baron Corbin. They did some cool spots in this match. Kalisto was doing some Sabu stuff with doing the running dive and using the chair for momentum, and Kalisto did a senton onto Corbin through a set of chairs. They did a lot of cool stuff in this match. So, I thought it was a lot better than I had expected going in. What did you think, David?
Yeah, it was. I thought at first, okay, here comes a filler match, and it was a lot better than expected. Although I was asking Jeff, I'm like, what's with Kalisto's outfit? They're trying to make him look like Max Moon now. It's like Vince likes when guys get shorter tights for some reason. Remember when Triple H switched over to the whitey tighties? I'm like, that's Vince doing that, you know? But regardless, I'm getting off topic. No, it was a decent match. And yeah, I don't know what it does for Baron Corbin necessarily, but it does show that Kalisto can still go out there and work with guys his size or bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like this match a lot. I thought that both guys did a really good job. I loved the spots they did with the chairs. Goodness gracious. And
Creative.
the days on the chair.
Yeah.
They were actually creative with chairs. You know, when you think of chairs in that TLC, you think of like Big Show and Sheamus. That was the first one, or one of the first ones. And now they have, you know, Baron Corbin, who can move like a cruiserweight, and Kalisto, who is a cruiserweight, do something like this. It totally changes the whole dynamic of what a chairs match can be.
Yeah, and Kalisto actually at one point also jumped off the top rope, and Corbin basically hit him in the head with the chair. It was like a clothesline.
Threw a chair at him, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's the closest thing to like a chair shot to the head. I guess it's more of Kalisto's momentum. They can get away with doing it instead of you know, somebody swinging a chair at somebody's head. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, they did some innovative stuff in this match, and it was creative. So you know, I'll give them credit for definitely exceeding expectations. So this was the surprise of the night, in my opinion.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, and then backstage we had Natalya denying Carmella's claims that she attacked Nikki Bella. So we'll see where this goes, of course, on the next SmackDown Live, which you can watch every Tuesday night on the USA Network. There's the cheap plug for that.
Wow, that was a really cheap plug.
Yeah, it was. Now we had next up we had Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss in a tables match for the SmackDown Women's title. We were all wrong on this one. We totally missed the mark, all three of us, on this one with our predictions.
Like I said to you on Twitter, since you called me out on Twitter, you schnook, I was talked out of picking Alexa on whatever it was. We taped Tuesday or Wednesday. I was talked out of picking Alexa. I had her in my mind to pick her, and then I woke up and went on Twitter while I was at work, or after work rather, and changed my pick. And I got accused of going with the odds, going with easy money. It's like, no, I picked Alexa because that's what I wanted to pick in the first place.
I don't think so, Jeff. You know, it was too coincidental. Sunday morning, the betting odds shift was announced, and then all of a sudden you're changing your predictions. So I'm not buying that, Mr. Meacham. I could see your nose growing like Pinocchio, fool.
I completely disagree. I didn't even look at the eye. I don't go
sure, Jeff.
like I should.
I don't believe you. How about that?
You don't believe me, huh?
Yeah, suspect.
I still think you're mad because of the list.
Yeah, well, I think you need to put yourself on the list for changing your predictions.
You just don't like that I was right.
You picked... I even watched back on the video. You did not seem like you had to be persuaded. You were like, yeah, I agree with you guys. It sounded like...
I didn't see that either.
Wait, what do you...
disagree?
All right, well, anyways, your official prediction was for Becky to retain. I don't care what you say, but...
Officially.
Yeah, officially.
Officially through NoDQ.com's video feed on YouTube, my prediction was Becky Lynch.
And then once the betting odds were released, the revised...
I didn't see the odds.
Sure, Jeff. Sure. Yeah, you saw all of my tweets. You don't go on NoDQ.com every day, but you just happen to see all my tweets.
I didn't see your tweet until after I sent my tweets.
You tweeted me 2 minutes after I posted something Sunday morning.
I did?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Anyways, you guys are something else.
It was an overnight shift induced coma.
Well, likely story.
Chalk it up to the coma.
All right. Anyways, let's talk about this match here. I thought it was all right. It was nothing special. Not much crowd heat. I did like again that it was about as clean of a win as you can get in a tables match. You know, I thought maybe they do some sort of lame Big Show finish, but they actually had Alexa powerbombing Becky through the table. And they did do one cool spot where Alexa DDT'd Becky over the table that was tipped over. I actually thought that was pretty creative. So it was an all right match. I mean, not bad. And I did like the finish. So Becky is the new women's champion, or excuse me, Alexa is the new women's champion. And, what did you think, David, of the match?
Yeah, I mean, the finish was all right. I liked it on the apron where she misses the kick and then gets power bombed in. That was a good finish. Yeah, I didn't see this one coming. I just thought they would have kind of, to kick off the SmackDown women's division, they would have a champion there for a couple months maybe. But, yeah, it is what it is. But don't be surprised maybe. My guess would be, my prediction, that it's just like a over there on Raw where maybe the title will switch hands again on a SmackDown. You don't know, so you never know. I don't think they're set on who's the SmackDown #1 woman is yet, and when they find that out, we'll know for sure. I guarantee it.
Yeah, it's not like What? Go ahead, Jeff.
No, I completely disagree with you, David. I think they have a woman in mind. They're going with Nikki Bella. Nikki is the one that they're going to build the brand around, and they liked Becky. They like Alexa right now, but they're going to notice Nikki won her match. Alexa won her match. They're going to build toward those two going into maybe the Royal Rumble or maybe even after. I think they're ultimately leading toward Becky versus Nikki at WrestleMania. That's the money SmackDown match.
Turning Becky heel.
Exactly, because Becky was already pissed off that the interviewer, whoever her name is, was in her face.
It's like a little tease.
Yeah, a little bit of a tease tonight with Becky. So I think they're going to lead toward Nikki winning the championship from Alexa at some point between now and Orlando, and then Becky will be the challenger at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get some heat for this, but dare I say they're pushing Nikki to keep in their back pocket. No? Okay.
Well, I mean...
that is Carmella's storyline claim. I personally, and this is rough for me to say because I've never been a Nikki Bella fan as far as her in-ring work, but her in-ring work has improved drastically the last 18 months or so, even with being injured. And
I agree.
She has shown me that she's earned that spot.
And she's got
seen her or not.
She's got her female fan base. I mean, every time she comes out, you can hear the female pop.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's because of the show, all the exposure on the Total Divas.
And Dave and I were talking during the match about, her and Alexa have easily the best booties on SmackDown. Easily.
Now, I wanted to ask you guys, tonight, this is the first night I've noticed it. Maybe they've been doing it before, but this is the first night I've noticed it. It seemed like they were showing a lot of shots of the crowd reacting to the big moves. Did you guys notice this? Is this the first time they've been doing this?
Yes. No, I've noticed it the last couple of weeks now. And in fact, they've even screwed up a few times and would show like a kid's reaction in the middle of a move.
The crowd not even, I noticed a couple of times they were showing the crowd and the crowd wasn't reacting. So it's like they messed up a couple of times.
Kevin Dunn needs to be fired.
Well, he
fired.
Well.
Let's see you try to do what he. Let's see you do what he does. Just saying.
Well, I can't claim that, but I'm just saying his little tricks like that, and then also the shaky camera that just makes me nauseous. I can't stand it.
Well, I don't know if that's him or someone else. I mean, that might be several people involved in that. But yeah, I'm not a
Kevin.
That's true.
It could be several people, Aaron, but much like the guy in the big tower, the big office at the top of the tower, Kevin Dunn is the guy that makes the ultimate decisions. So he's the one making all those shots at the end of the day.
I mean, whoever's responsible for the shaky camera, I mean, that's terrible. And but that's going back to ECW. ECW did that first, so I blame ECW.
That's true, but they were low budget. They had an excuse.
And it worked for ECW, to be honest with you.
Well, I don't know. I was never a fan of it in ECW. But yeah, anyways, it's weird because I mean, there were a couple of times like where I felt like they missed the camera shot, and then it also seemed like most of the reactions were women. Like of all the big spots, the women were the ones that going all crazy over the spots. But yeah, I think they're overdoing it a little bit. I mean, I don't mind them showing the crowd reactions, but it's like they're trying to get the shocked Undertaker fan for every single spot, and it's going to become overkill. Like this is awesome, When you start doing it every match, it's going to lose. It's going to lose its importance and its impact. When they showed the shocked Undertaker fan, I mean, that was iconic. But if you try to recreate that moment every single match, it's going to get old really fast.
WWE's biggest problem is once they get lightning in the bottle once, they try to do the same thing over and over.
Right,
and over
exactly.
and over. Like
James Ellsworth, and we'll get to that in a minute here. So,
so
we're running out of things to do with James Ellsworth. This is WWE. They signed him to a contract apparently. So, the thing was running well for a while, but eventually they're running out of material. So what do? Do you have Dean Ambrose turn heel since the crowd is booing him and starting to turn on him anyways? No. You actually pull a Colin Delaney on James Ellsworth. So let's go ahead and talk about this ladder match, the main event, AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose. I thought the match itself before the finish was awesome. I mean, AJ was just doing so many crazy things. The crowd was cheering AJ as the babyface. They were chanting for AJ. They actually started chanting for Undertaker at one point. There was speculation earlier today, Undertaker might show up at the end of the pay-per-view. I felt that would have been a lot better than what they actually ended up doing. But anyways, maybe we'll see Undertaker on SmackDown or whatever. But yeah, the crowd was chanting for AJ. Ambrose put AJ through the chairs, and AJ did this crazy flip, went back first through the chairs. I thought it looked awesome. I mean, it was a great bump that AJ took. Just
great move.
To quote AJ, phenomenal. I mean, that was probably the spot of the night. Well, actually, there were a couple in this match. That one was great. AJ's tights ended up ripping near his rear end from that spot. So I was laughing through half of this match at AJ. Fortunately for him, it was the rear end and not the front side where his tights ripped. That would have been way worse. That would have been the Lenny Kravitz moment if that had happened. So Ambrose made his comeback. He set the ladder up on the announcer table and then did the flying elbow through AJ on the other announce table. That was another really cool spot. AJ
I was waiting for the ladder to tip on that. I was waiting for that.
Well, it didn't, fortunately. AJ did a phenomenal forearm to Ambrose, who was climbing up the ladder. That looked really cool. And then AJ, the other big cool spot of this match, AJ did a springboard 450 to Ambrose through the table on the outside. That was tremendous. I mean, picture perfect. I thought it looked so good. And then at this point, the crowd finally woke up. They were dead for most of the show. They finally woke up, and then who comes out but James Ellsworth, and the crowd just starts booing. The crowd was not happy about this. AJ went after Ellsworth. Ambrose saved Ellsworth, and then Ambrose was about to win the match when James Ellsworth tipped the ladder over, sending Ambrose to the outside through the tables. AJ climbs up, grabs the belt, and Ellsworth is happy that AJ has retained the title. So, this is Colin Delaney 2.0. I'll start with you, David. What did you think of the match and the finish?
Well, before I get to my critique, let me just point out the fact that I thought this was the match of the night. It was great. There was a lot of spots.
Agreed.
And let me point out that this rivalry, to me, has been entertaining.
Yeah.
It's run its course now with James Ellsworth, but it's been very entertaining. It's been comical, and it's been great in the ring. They've always had great matches, so I commend them for this rivalry, and it worked out for the both of them. Now, my critique is this is just awful booking.
Yeah.
You had the chance right there to make Ambrose heel, and the fans were ready. They were cheering AJ already. AJ had to go like this a few times, to kind of keep in kayfabe and say, hey, I'm the bad guy here.
Yeah, he was trying. And he was trying, for sure.
He was trying, and he has been trying, even with his promo work, and they didn't do it. Instead, you take the ultimate babyface, a guy that you could have probably stretched out with somebody else as the ultimate underdog, and you turn him heel. For what? There was nothing in the storyline that indicated that he was favoring AJ. So to me, it makes awful sense. I hate the booking, and this is what made me downgrade this from a B show to a C+, just because of the finish. The in-ring stuff was phenomenal, and if you're an in-ring mark like I am, it's great. But everything else in terms of the booking, to me, it ruined the whole storyline with them. It ruined it for me.
Well, AJ's definitely the heel on my dad's side. He calls AJ the twat that's in the spot. So.
Good one.
But,
he's the ass that runs the class.
That's right.
Now that he's got that tear in his butt area.
Yeah, seriously.
That's a good one. That's going to catch on.
Yeah. Hopefully Dad does. We try to do things with my dad to catch up. Nothing ever catches on with the fans. It's crazy. Anyway, I liked the match. I didn't hate the finish. I disliked it a lot. I only didn't hate it because Ellsworth's logic has to be, well, I've beaten AJ 3 times. I can beat him again. He did it with Ambrose's help all 3 times, but he did it. So without Ambrose, he's going to get destroyed. Hopefully that'll be the end of Ellsworth once and for all. The rest of the match, oh my goodness. That chair spot with him going through those, whatever it was, 4 or 6 chairs, was something that TNA AJ Styles do on a regular basis.
Yeah, it reminded me. You remember the X Division, the Ultimate X match, where AJ did this flip in midair off the cables?
He did. He was hanging on the cables. He did a little flip, kind of like he did the flip in midair and just landed on the mat. It was one of the scariest spots I've seen in TNA, and all of a sudden there it is, WWE TV. It was awesome.
Yeah,
that's the AJ Styles I miss, and that's the AJ Styles I want to cheer, which is not what we're supposed to be doing. So it was a really good match. The last 2 minutes sucked, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, look what happened with Colin Delaney. I mean, he turned heel, and then that was the end of his character. Like a couple weeks later.
Difference is Delaney turned on Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah.
Ellsworth turned on Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, and they could have made Ambrose a top heel by turning on.
Right, but Dean Ambrose is, you can't even see how high my hand is up here, way up here. Tommy Dreamer, even at his best, was nowhere near Ambrose's level as far as the star power, the name in WWE.
Yeah.
So hopefully, wherever AJ goes after Ellsworth, maybe they'll feed Ambrose Ellsworth, and maybe Ambrose's treatment of Ellsworth going forward will lead to the heel turn at last.
That could be. But to make your guys' point, if AJ is going to go out here and do all these high spots, then you're going to get babyface chance. So either you got to make him like change that up, or just make him face again. I don't know. Either way, though, I think they're giving him a lot of leeway with what he does in ring, and I'm glad to see more of it because the stuff he does is just so pleasant to watch, man.
Yeah.
Well, so you notice the only time he really turned heel in TNA was when he was becoming like Angle's little buddy and Christian's buddy.
Yeah.
But his in-ring work also slowed down and didn't really get all spot monkey for a long time when he was a heel in TNA. He kind of toned it down and brought it back a little bit. And then when he went to the whole him against the world gimmick when he was facing the Aces of Eights, he also toned his ring style down a little bit too. So it's all about adjustment. And for right now, his first year in WWE, he wants to be the AJ of old. But if Vince truly wants him to be a bad guy, which I don't understand, then he needs to find that adjustment he found in TNA and kind of bring it back so people will not want to cheer him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Regardless, though, for a guy who's 38 years old, I commend him for what he's still doing, man. Just great.
He is the best mainstream wrestler on the planet. Now that Bryan has retired, he's the top guy.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
And he's dominating the Superstar of the Year poll right now. I mean, he's winning by a landslide. I mean, we still have the rest of the month for people to vote, but he's got like 70% of the vote right now.
Right, and I want to ask you guys a question real quick, kind of on that topic.
Why we don't change our clothes? Why we wear the same clothes every day?
No, actually, but that's bad hygiene. Yeah, no, but I was just going to ask that. Oh boy, now I forgot. Oh well, I guess it wasn't that important if I had forgotten it.
If you remember,
that's what I was going to ask you. Yeah, no, I remembered. I'm sorry. Does you guys think that the WWE World Title, the SmackDown title, to me, because it's been the title before they merged, does that seem like the more important world title to you guys, especially with AJ carrying it?
100%.
To me, it just does. Yeah.
I mean,
so I'm glad you guys agree.
I don't dislike the way they're booking the Universal Championship. I think Kevin's doing a great job on Raw.
Yeah.
But for me, the WWE World Championship has always been the top prize. Even when they had the big gold belt in the World Championship, you always saw better quality in-ring work with the championship. And that's not by mistake. I promise you that.
That's true.
I agree 100%. All right, so that'll wrap it up for this video. Thank you guys for being on today, and thank everyone for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, please share it with a friend on Facebook or Twitter. You could follow David at SmartMark420 on Twitter, and you can follow Jeff Meacham, the guy that likes to change his predictions the last minute, at _Jeff Meacham on Twitter. And hi, Dylan. Tell Dylan I said hi.
We'll do that.
All right, so that'll wrap it up for this video. Thank you guys again, and we will see you next time.